Which is why, Fox, we want to do a co-sign or cap with you, NFL Draft Edition. I'll basically give you a statement. All right. You either co-sign that statement or you say, nah, man, that's cap. And the first one is, dude, the first time on the clock should not have 10 minutes to make their pick because they've been sitting on it for months. Why are we waiting for you? Do you co-sign this or is that cap?
Absolutely 100% co-sign it. I don't know. I mean, I guess you understand TV much better than me. Is that portion? I mean, there's a lot of setup. No, they do all the setup, and then they start the clock.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. We could tighten it up a little bit. That would be fair. We should kick it off with the first pick.
Correct. Like, could you imagine?
Just out of the gates?
Yeah, right away. It's like in the intro.
It would get asses in seats a lot quicker.
Yes.
Like, you know when the Braves last year were hitting home runs like at a historic clip in the first inning, it forced everybody to get to the ballpark earlier. If Goodell opened up, welcome to the draft, your first pick, boom, that actually would get eyeballs on the program a lot quicker. But the NFL has no problem drawing eyeballs to the product anyway. So, they want to fill that thing with some commercials, so that's good. But I think
especially when it's not. There's no suspense around the pick. Like this year,
true.
There's no suspense around the pick. So we need to get to the suspenseful picks as quickly as we possibly can in the trades that are coming. But we know the Bears have made it quite clear they're going Caleb. So move it up.
Yo, imagine we get some absolute haymaker, though, to start this draft out of freaking nowhere. Like an unprecedented move. The Chicago Bears have traded down or traded up, which actually, Fox, leads us to the next one. Trading down in the draft is lame. Cosign or cap. And I think based off of what we've seen in recent trade down scenarios, we might know where this one's going.
Trading down meaning getting a higher pick.
Getting a higher pick. Yeah.
Okay. I would say that is cap. I mean, I'm not. So the idea you're trading down in order to get or up in the draft to get a higher pick to get a quarterback is a mistake. So it's just it feels to me like that never really works out well for any team. I mean, at the end of the draft when you're doing
Trey Lance.
But look what the Dolphins turned that into, right?
So it's co-sign for somebody, but cap for somebody else, right? Like there's two sides of this coin for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't want my team doing it, even though the Ravens did it to get Lamar Jackson. It's the end of the draft. I think the Chiefs also was a trade up technically, I think, right, for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I don't like the big overhaul trade ups to like top 5. And right now in my mind, the teams that are thinking about doing that are like the Giants and the Vikings, maybe the Vikings. But the Giants don't do the same dumb just did last time where you brought a quarterback into a bad situation and then things got worse. And we don't really know, not Daniel Jones is not a world beater, but we're not sure how good he can be. You're going to do it to another poor, unsuspecting quarterback prospect. Please don't.
Torpedoing the entirety of your future first-round selections is like selling the farm, right, for Major League Baseball, like franchises who, freaking trade every single prospect they have to trade up for what is at best an unknown.
Yeah. It's not an exact science, and we've certainly proven that, which is why the next one is interesting to me because there's been some debate. CJ Stroud says that his former teammate Marvin Harrison Jr. should be the first wide receiver taken in this draft. You co-sign that, or is that cap?
Co-sign.
Yeah. Co-signing that like somebody who needs a car has got good credit.
I can't co-sign that hard enough. I've made the argument that we do focus a lot on quarterbacks, and it's not necessarily smart. I think that there are players who can have impacts close to as large as a quarterback on a team. I think back to Randy Moss dropped on to the Vikings, and they went 15-1 when he showed up. J.J. Watt was similar. Von Miller had a similar impact. There are players who can change the fortunes of your team because of the sheer level of their impact. And it makes the job for the quarterback a lot easier too. And I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is clearly that good to me, and he is by far, well, I wouldn't say by far, but is decidedly the best receiver in this draft. And best player in this draft, including the quarterbacks, honestly.
Also, the underlying awkwardness if your homie who you went and played college ball with was like, yeah, Marvin Harrison's good, but like that Malik Neighbors,
Yeah.
I wish
I really like Roma Dunze.
I wish he was in Columbus with me because Marvin Harrison is just whatever.
I love this question for Fox because he's so high level. Like he understands football in a way that probably makes him sick sometimes when he watches what we put on, and it's always just treetops. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Drafting an offensive guard is as sexy as wearing socks with sandals at a beach party. Do you co-sign this, or is that cap?
I co-sign it. Yeah.
Wow.
Socks and sandals, not sexy. I mean, I think I could pull it off. But drafting a guard, I can't pull that off. There's no level of sexy that can make that cool. I'm sorry. I know you need them. But if you're going to draft an offensive lineman, draft one of the impactful ones, which is a tackle. Sorry, offensive guards. I know you have value, but like guard is the last place you end up. That's like the bin for people who aren't big enough to play tackle.
And it's the lost and found for offensive linemen. That's crazy.
It kind of is like it. And if you aren't explosive enough to play defensive line, they send you over to the offensive line, and then they're like, "Oh, but your arms aren't long enough to box with these pass rushers. Slide your ass inside, and they won't even let you be center, where at least you can call out the protections. You have some level of responsibility. Guard is the last spot. It's the last spot. Maybe running back is lower than guard.
So you only threw up in your mouth a little bit when the Chiefs took Eric Fisher a decade ago, first overall, right? Like not quite a guard. They did take him at tackle. But you were like, this is not sexy. But wait a minute. It could be worse.
Well, I mean, I don't want to yuck anybody's yums. Maybe somebody out there is into offensive guards being drafted high, but that don't do it for me.
Exactly. Listen, some people think infrastructure is sexy, okay? Some people's dirty talk is suspension bridges.
I'm saying.
And rotaries. Like, it's important. And also, let me throw this out there as well, okay? Wearing socks with sandals to a beach party, not sexy, but if your feet are atrocious, you are saving the party by putting them bad boys away. I'm a big proponent, Fox, about men not showing their feet ever unless they're walking physically into a body of water. And so I'm a big fan of this. You will ruin the party if you expose those toes.
Fox, it's the funniest thing that Elle ever said. Like 10 years ago when I first met her, I don't know how we got on this tangent about exposed feet, like in those thong sandals that go in between your big toe and the rest of the four. But Elle was like, the only time I should ever be seeing your feet, this includes my soon-to-be husband, is if he is walking his ass into a body of water to cover those damn feet up. I was like, all right, Elle, I thought we were talking about
feet. Feet are ugly in general. Men don't paint their toes.
I got nice feet.
Typically, they are hairy. Even a nice man's foot is ugly, and I stand on this. Like, put your toes away, especially at work. I got into an elevator. There was like 6 dudes all with thong sandals on. It's like so inappropriate.
You were on a cruise. What were they supposed to do? Hell, damn. I think it's more awkward if you're like in a tropical situation and dudes are wearing closed-toed anything. That's weird. It's more weird.
I mean, I'm with Elle generally, but there are certain situations where you have to endure the feet. I mean, especially as an athlete in the locker room, I've seen lots of really terrible feet. But if you're going to a pool party or you're going to a tropical location, I have to say that there's some gross things that you have to be comfortable with seeing. And you're going to have to see some bodies that you don't like. I'm sorry. There are going to be some body parts that are exposed that shouldn't be exposed.
It's fair. It just comes with the territory.
Turks and Caicos, and Omar's in some Butters.
Yeah.
He's in some Timberlands.
Yeah, he's wearing Cole Haans. All right. Lastly, and I think this is a good one. Your nickname is either Dom or Neek, cosign or cap.
Oh, it's cap.
Thank you.
That's cap. It's cap. Like, it's clear. Like, I don't look like a Dom. I've never been called Dom until, like, my mid-30s, the first time anyone's ever called me Dom. I don't know why. Maybe it's just I grew up around mostly black people, and they just happen to have a strain of creativity where they're like, no, that first syllable, we skipping that. We don't need that second syllable either. We going to the cool one, the only cool syllable, like Dom, Mo, not cool. Neek, though? That's a cooler sound. So that's the one that I went with. And then it was so weird to me at business school. I'm in my 30s. The first time anyone was like, hey, Dom. Like, I don't see any fat Italian people anywhere around here. Like, I'm not a Dom. Get out of here. But people still call me Dom. It's just I get it. It's like a reflex. It's like the first syllable, but it still doesn't sit right for me. I'm 41, and I still have not gotten comfortable with it. I have a cousin who calls me Domo, which Like that
Damo's
works
kind
too.
of,
That's better.
kind of endearing.
Yeah.
Damo's
a little
I
bit
like
different.
it. I knew, and Fox knew that I was a real one and loved him from his services with the Broncos because I know that his nickname is Fox.
Yeah, that's the safest one
Fox.
too. Like it's always been Fox.
Yeah, but even like people here will be like, "Oh, you want me to hit up Neek and see?" I'm like, "Who the Neek? It's Fox.
It's Fox. I didn't know that the first two were options. To be honest with you.
It's Fox."
Yeah.
The business school thing, they asked you like you have a nickname, and I said Fox. They all thought it was funny. They were going to call you Fox. I was like, all right, fine. Don't call me Fox. I don't care. Call me whatever the hell you want, I guess.
Is like, what up, Worth? What up, Worth?
Yeah.
Just trying to be different.
Listen, what did the Fox say? He said his nickname's Fox.
That's right.